Good morning, my beautiful babes and babettes. I am your resident active advocate, and I was going to embark on a series about disability in the media today. But before I do that, I wanted to clear up a point on which I screwed up. I did. Alright, so in my video about disability and romance, I was saying, how important it is to have independence in your relationships because one person alone is sufficient unto themselves. I maintain that point. However, despite the fact that yes, you are complete, yes, you are whole by yourself, independence can also mean physical independence, mental, intellectual independence. There are certain cases in which your partner is not going to be literally capable of that. Let's say you're dating a quadriplegic or a paraplegic, someone who can't. A paraplegic would be someone who can't use two of their four limbs. A quadriplegic is someone who can't use all four, okay? If the person, say, cannot walk, all right, they have possibly an electric wheelchair, but if they've got a manual, because electrics, they can break down, that kind of thing. If they have a manual, but they can't wheel themselves, they're going to need their partner's help with that. They're going to need someone's help with that anyway. If you're a quadriplegic, same case. You may not be able to wheel your own chair, but there are different technologies that can allow a person to move about independently, regardless of the way in which they can use their limbs or not. But in the interest of transparency, I should say that yes, there are going to be cases where a person needs their partner's help, maybe for everything, for anything. There's always the case of be prepared. But I don't want to make this sound as though, quote, those people are off limits. I maintain that we are not off limits. No one with a disability should be considered off limits. There are certain boundaries that should not be crossed. For example, if a person has an intellectual disability to the extent that they cannot understand, about to get kinky, a thing like sexual intercourse, it should not be done, okay? I would draw that as a hard limit. But a person should be allowed to describe what their own limits are and what their own capabilities are. And if you do not respect those limits and those capabilities, I don't know whether you ought to be with someone who has those limits or those capabilities. However, I am not going to sit here judging anyone. If you feel that, let's say your partner has had an accident and they can no longer use their legs, or something to that effect, if you feel that that is too much for you to handle, I cannot sit here and judge you. That is not my place. That is the conversation that you need to have with your own conscience and with your partner. If you feel that you can handle it, more power to you. Wonderful, congratulations. But again, in that situation as well, that is the conversation that you need to have with your own conscience and with your partner. No matter your decision, it is not my decision. It is no one's decision but yours and your partner's. Try not to leave the person high and dry, for the love of God. People have a conscience. These things should be understood, and I say should be because I'm getting judgmental. And I literally just said I shouldn't do that. So I'm going to boil this down to, this is your decision. This is your partner's decision. Whatever they feel capable of doing, they can do that. Whatever they are not capable of doing, they deserve the right to help with that, because everyone deserves equity. You know, just because a person may need more help or more support does not make them, quote, less than the person who doesn't need that help and that support. I'm not saying it's a sign of true love that you would stick around and help the person in question. I'm not, again, I can't sit here on my judgment seat and say, oh, you're really in love versus you're really not in love because you bailed. That's not my place to say. That's in here. That's what you need to decide. That's what your partner needs to decide. This is a two-way street, okay? So I really wanted to clear up that point, that if someone needs additional assistance, it still doesn't mean that they're off limits. It just means that they need additional assistance. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? I wanted to clear that point up to make myself as transparent as possible. Just, to make sure I don't come off as an authority, okay? I'm not an authority. I screw up, and I screwed up. And I wanted to clear that up. So hopefully I've made myself clearer on this point. And tomorrow I will be beginning the new series on disability and the media. And as I said in my little primer video about this on Friday, you want to see Mama get pissed off? It might happen in this series. All right. Thank you all for your attention and hopefully for your understanding. Leave your thoughts down in the comments as to whether I have been clear enough on this point, or if you want to hear more about it, because I think it is a very important point to make. I will see y'all tomorrow. Fairly well. Bye. Mwah.